Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, it's a 2017 Massacre. Massacre is a 14.5% Imperial Dark Lager from Wolverine State Brewing Company in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wolverine Brewing is really bucking a lot of craft beer trends by focusing on only lagers. You may not know this, but when you boil it down, there are really only two types of beers, ales and lagers, and the main difference between these two styles is the type of yeasts that are used. Ale yeasts can do their things in higher temperatures, lager yeasts like things a little colder. Now, there are obviously way more differences between the two of them, and if you want to see a video with some more differences, leave me a comment below this video. I'll get into it, but with that being said, let's get into the Massacre I have here in front of me. Wolverine's Massacre is a beer that they put out yearly in the fall, and this is obviously the 2017 variety. It's a bourbon barrel-aged dark lager, which when I think of lagers, I think of light and crisp beers, but I have a feeling that with this being such a high ABV at 14% plus, it's probably going to be neither crisp or light. But I'm going to open it, and I'm going to be open to whatever it does. If it's heavy and thick, so be it. I'm going to judge it on that character, not necessarily that this is a lager. So let's take a look real quick at this bottle before I pour it. It has Massacre written on the front here, Wolverine State Brewing Company across the top. The 2017 red wax seal. As you can see, this bottle is sealed with wax. On the back here it says, as the brewer sat down to map out Massacre for 2017, the table was silent. Everyone had their noses buried in a snifter of sweet bourbon, molasses, chocolate, and luscious barrel aromas from past vintages of this boundary-breaking brew. Our only goal, to make 2017 Massacre the best vintage yet, and now, beneath the wax seal, you'll find reason to rejoice. Big, bold, and beautiful 2017 Massacre has arrived. And that's the thing. With every iteration of this, it seems like they've been bumping up the ABV. Again, this one's 14.5%. And yeah, that's going to be pretty strong. I don't see a brewed on date on this bottle anywhere, but I did just pick this up within the last couple weeks. Still looking for that label. Haven't found it. So I've never opened a wax sealed bottle of beer before, so I just have a knife. I'm going to try and cut around some of this on the cap. And it's not really so much about getting the top of this off. It probably is more to get to the bottom. As you see, has the Wolverine logo right there on the top. All right, crack that seal. Whew, that smells strong right out of the gate. I'm going to use a tulip on this. Let's give it a smell. Whoa, I smell the bourbon right off the bat. It's really all I'm picking up right now is just the bourbon smell. I'm not getting much of anything else, but let's pour it into a little bit bigger of a glass here. It's nice and dark. It's on the brownish end, a little bit, almost like a cola. A cola consistency. If I didn't know better, I would think this was like a Coke or a Pepsi. Again, getting a lot of bourbon. Getting almost like a meaty kind of smell out of it, which is kind of weird to say. Meaty. Not what you think of when you think of beer. But a lot of bourbon. Like I said, kind of a meaty kind of smell, which is weird, but keeping an open mind, let's give it a taste. It's nice and thick. Definitely getting a lot of bourbon in that. Getting some vanilla taste. Okay, so the body is really thick. Taste, I'm getting a lot of vanilla, getting a lot of bourbon, some chocolate in the back end. Now that it kind of sits there, I get a little bit of a dark chocolate taste to it. The alcohol kind of aerates I can feel it through my nose. It's not like nose hair singeing alcohol bitterness to it, but I mean, obviously 14.5%. This has a really high alcohol taste to it. Like I said, it's thick, almost kind of syrupy. The body, the mouthfeel. Sweet. And like I said, it has a dark chocolate taste, but you really almost have to work for it. You have to wait for it. You kind of have to let it settle in your mouth after you've taken your drink for you to be able to pick up on some of that chocolate taste. You really have to work for it. This doesn't remind me, I don't think of a bourbon. I'm sorry, I don't think of a lager. When I drink this, I definitely think of a bourbon. But yeah, it's got that kind of hint of dark chocolate at the very tail end. It has like a smokiness to it. You really have to work for this. It's not a bad beer. It's not one that, it's like one of those, like a No Rules or a Milk Ball, malted Milk Ball Imperial Porter from Perrin. It's like a Perrin Imperial Porter where you kind of have to, you're not going to drink a whole bottle or a whole 6-pack at least. This comes in a 4-pack, I believe. You're not going to drink the whole 4-pack on your own in one night. If you are, maybe you deserve to be drinking the whole thing, but it's not something you're going to finish on your own. This is probably one I could have one beer of. Sitting back, recalling the day's events. But to be honest, I think I would probably go with a different, maybe a different, like a dessert beer rather than this, because it is really upfront in your face. The alcohol is really strong. Like I said, if I let it kind of simmer, in my mouth and draw it in slowly, I get a lot of the alcohol kind of like wafts back up a little bit through my nose. It kind of sits in there. It's not, like I said, it's not hair singeing, but it's not my favorite. I like higher alcohol content beers, but I feel like Imperials are just kind of pushing it to get more, they're still classified as beers, but they may as well just be like, you might as well just drink a bourbon at that point, because I don't get a lot of lager characteristics out of this. Like I said, lagers, I usually think of something lighter, a little crisper, and I understand that Wolverine's trying to push the envelope on the lager style. This is kind of groundbreaking for them, but to me, it's not usually what I look for in a lager. It's just not necessarily for me. This may be the only bottle of Massacre that I have, and I think I'll be okay with that. But, to each their own. I know a lot of people love Wolverine stuff, and I've actually had some other stuff in their tap room that I've really liked. This one, maybe just not for me. All right, friends, that is Wolverine State Brewing Company's 2017 edition of Massacre. I had a Mexican hot chocolate version of Massacre at the Michigan Fall Beer Fest in Eastern Market this past weekend, and I liked it quite a bit more. It had a little bit more chocolate. It had a little bit more the Mexican spice than this had. This seemed like it was all a lot of bourbon. But if you went, let me know what some of your favorites were in the comments below this video. And while you're down there, why not like, subscribe, and share this video with some friends? Don't keep all this beery goodness to yourself. You can also find links to my social media like my Facebook, my Instagram, and my Twitter account. I'm also starting to put up some Twitter polls to get an idea of what reviews you guys would like to see next. I bring in a lot of beer, and it's hard for me sometimes to prioritize what you guys would like to see. So leave me some feedback down there. And with that being said, until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.